Good evening, everyone. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science here in New York City. We're gathered together this evening for our self-healing discussion. This is based upon the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Most of you know that Louise Hay was a student here at First Church. She took the same classes that I have taken, and she was on staff as a practitioner and minister. So it's our privilege and our joy every week to bring forth lessons every Thursday at 7 p.m. I also want to mention we have a creative living series that Jimmy has been facilitating every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. It's the same Zoom details. And Sunday morning we have a lesson, a New Thought lesson at 10:45 is a meditation followed by the lesson at 11. That also has the same Zoom details. So join us on Wednesday for our Creative Living series and Sunday morning also. So let's get on with our self-healing class. I have a little poem for this evening that I was able to put together this week, and it's entitled Embrace Your Light. And here it goes. In the garden of the soul, let love's flowers bloom, with petals of self-love casting away gloom. For you are worthy, just as you are, a shining, radiant, spectacular star. Release the shadows, let go of the pain, transform the negatives like rain into gain. Speak to yourself with kindness and care. In your own heart, make a promise to bear. Never, never, never cast shadows of doubt. Whisper words of love, let them freely spout. See your reflection and smile with glee, for you are perfect, as perfect can be. Embrace forgiveness, let it flow like a river, to yourself and to others. Be a generous giver. In this new moment, start fresh and anew. See the good, let it shine brightly through. With an open heart and a positive mind, discover the joy and peace that you can find. Love yourself deeply, and you will see a life filled with love as it's meant to be. And so it is. Louise Hay's teachings inspire all of us to cultivate a positive relationship with ourselves. She taught us to encourage the practice. She encouraged us to practice self-love and forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others. She truly understood metaphysics. When we say the Father and I are one, or Spirit and I are one, we're talking about the fact that each of us are individualizations of this one life, this one creative energy. The poem that I put together aimed to capture the spirit, reminding us to let go of negative self-talk, embrace our worthiness, and see the good in every moment, and hopefully in every one. We teach every encounter is a holy encounter. Sometimes we don't realize it, but it is. Every person that comes into our world is there for a reason. It might be a brief passing or encounter, but we have an opportunity every time we see another person. And we cultivate an awareness in our teaching that everything is spirit, so every encounter is a holy encounter. When you see someone in your mind, you could say to them, or at least in your mind, namaste, which is a greeting. It's a salutation, which would mean that part of yourself, which is whole and perfect, sees that and salutes it in another. So I'll say that to all of you this evening. Namaste. I see the spirit in you. So this evening, we're once again ready to consider some new thought principles and Louise Hay healing ideas, principles. We're guided by her wisdom, her writing from her international bestseller, You Can Heal Your Life, and always the insightful wisdom of Ernest Holmes. This is our weekly special Louise Hay class. As many of you know, I've been doing a version of this class every week since the book came out. It's always been a well-attended class. It's good for people who need to heal anything, really. I've had people who have had marriage difficulties. I in the early years had a lot of people dealing with AIDS and cancer and issues of death and dying. I've never seen this material used anywhere where it did not benefit somebody. It's always been helpful. Therapists, I've been a therapist, preachers, ministers, facility leaders, just about anybody that I have ever worked with or I've seen implement this material has really benefited greatly by it. So here we are every Thursday night, and everything we broadcast on Thursday night then goes to our Facebook page where you can watch it again, and also it goes to our YouTube page where it's there. It's there for you, so you can go onto our page, either one, Facebook or YouTube, and you can revisit lessons. Sometimes there's points that we make that you may not fully understand or you want to hear again. So we encourage you to go back there and listen again. When I was learning this material many years ago, both Ernest Holmes material and Louise Hay material, I would listen to the audio. Those days it was cassettes, but now you can hear all of this again on our website or YouTube, and there's many of the Louise Hay early audios that are still available to you. But you listen and you listen again. Each and every time you listen, you'll be in a different place, or you'll be in a place where you take it in differently. So this evening, let's start again with open minds, open hearts. Let's take a deep breath. Let's release any tension of the day. And let's allow ourselves to be fully present in this very new moment, and this new moment of togetherness and mutual support. Tonight I first want to talk about understanding the self. As we learn to love ourselves and we learn about self-acceptance that Louise Hay talks about, it's a sacred journey. It's a path of love and understanding that we walk upon. We're learning to see what works and what doesn't work. It invites us to embrace all aspects of our being, the good and the stuff that's not so good, the stuff that's sometimes not so pretty. We want to acknowledge our past, and we want to celebrate our present. And as we do this, we lay the foundation of love for our future. The past, as we hear in every lesson, in one way, shape, or form or another, is done. It's gone. And hopefully you're able to let it go. A lot of people in a lot of classes and people I've counseled with, they keep on bringing in a story. The story is going to be about what they did or what someone did to them. And that story will definitely color the present. In other words, if I have a history with you, and it means I have a belief about you, a whole bunch of beliefs about you, it's very difficult for me to see you as a new person in a new way. I carry a story about you. And then if you've got a lot of people in your life, you probably are carrying a lot of stories about everybody. So when we get into this teaching and you hear the point of power is always in the present moment, there's a calling there. I'm giving some instruction. We have to really attempt to let go of the history we have with everybody so we can see them in a new way. Ernest Holmes would talk about the ancient hurts or the baggage or the corpses, the dead bodies. And what he's really talking about is all this stuff that people carry with them that makes it very difficult for them to be fresh and to be alive in a new moment. And everything about this teaching is about being in a new moment. So it's really important for us to pay attention to our thoughts. And when you're interacting with people, be mindful of whether you're carrying some story. You have history with them. So you're not maybe able to hear them in a new moment. So that's a challenge for all of us. So we know that the past is gone and done with. We want to find a way to forgive it and release it. And so we can let people go. We want to be able to forgive them. We want to be able to forgive ourselves so we can move forward. Louise taught us that the point of power is always in the present moment. So do your best, as soon as you start thinking about what someone's done or what you've done, do your best to drop that thought. cleanse it, neutralize it, release it, forgive yourself, forgive them, do your best. So the point of power being the present moment means this moment, it's like you're the painter or you're the architect, you're the author of your own experience. If you're painting, this moment is your canvas, and you have the power to paint it with colors of love and joy, and you get to paint a beautiful picture. Or you can hang on to the old stuff and you'll be painting it in a way that might not be so pretty. So you're the author. I've heard that 1,000 times, maybe 10,000 times in my life. You're creating your own life by virtue of your consciousness, by virtue of your thoughts, what you're thinking, what you're believing. And when we say the point of power is always in the present moment, that means that you can take that pause, you can stop, and you can start anew. You can start anew right today. I think it was Bill Wilson, but certainly from the 12-step programs comes the slogan, it's never too late to start your day over. Ernest Holmes reminds us that life is a mirror, and it's going to reflect back to you, the thinker, what you think into it. So let us breathe deeply, breathe in, grounding ourselves in the idea that love is in us, surrounds us, that we are one with this love, one with this power. Together, let's affirm with some conviction, I am open to the process of love. I'm open and receptive. I accept life on life's terms. Another is I'm willing to release the need to blame other people for my situation or for my life. There's a lot of people who are pointing fingers in life. Just notice, there's a lot of people telling everybody what they should do. And Louise Hay is very clear in her book about when you notice that you're doing that. In the book, she'll say that you're using the word should, she says, 47 times a day. She says, that might indicate that there's a pattern of rigidity within you. I first remember hearing that and I laughed. And I thought, yeah, of course. So what she's suggesting that we do is release the need for these strong opinions about how people are doing, what they're doing, and put the focus on ourselves. Also, the word should and words like that, it's synonyms. If we're doing that a lot with other people, what we're doing is we're making people wrong and we're acting as directors in other people's lives. And so as much as we can, we want to release the need to do that. The other point that she makes very clear is when we're pointing fingers at other people, most of the time that's going to, it's going to show you where there's areas within ourselves that need some work. I remember a time when I was younger, around 1980, I might have been in a room and I could see what was wrong with everybody. And because I was smart, but there's this expression, if you spot it, you've got it. So this is a time for us to rethink it. The thing to realize is there's nothing wrong with anyone else. Everyone is where they are. Everybody is evolving and growing just as you are, just as I am. And when you really begin to love yourself more and more, you're going to find that you're not so bothered with what other people are doing. Because as much as you are doing your thing and you're learning and growing, they are too. So it was pointed out to me in my youth that the universe is whole and complete and everybody is where they need to be. And I don't need to fix anyone. And so those are the lessons that people learn in Coda and Al-Anon, to live and to let go and let God. So we come here into a gathering like this and we know our desire is to be happy, joyous, and free. The peace of spirit is our one goal, borrowed from the Course in Miracles. They say it another way, the peace of God is my one goal, my purpose, my function in my life. But I'll say it this way, the peace of spirit is our one goal. We want to learn to love ourselves so we can release all of our frustrations, we can release our anger, our worries, and we can begin to do as Louise Hay suggested, which is trust the process of life. So I'm hoping all of you will have this willingness, and you could say, I trust the process of life. And if you do, everything's going to continue to unfold. for you. It will anyway, but I'd rather go along in alignment with it than to be fighting it. If you're in resistance, that's an interesting thing, because the lessons come at you, and we have an old saying, you're going to get the lesson the first time around, it's going to be a little nudge, the next time it might be a cosmic 2x4. So we want to learn our lessons more readily, so we want to surrender. We want to surrender the things that don't work, and we want to trust Spirit. And to the extent we can listen within, and Spirit will always inform us. We can ask questions like, what's the most self-loving thing I can do right now? And as you ask those questions to yourself, by yourself, the answer will be there. So we want to learn to trust those answers, trust the process of life to be there for us. Part of this whole thing is accepting ourselves where we are. Louise would say, I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. That means with the flaws, the imperfections, all of it. So we want to shine a light here always on our strengths, on our brilliance, on our unique qualities, because we all have them. Each of you, again, are individualizations of God or Spirit. So, of course, you have wonderful qualities, and we want to let those shine. We're not trying to hide those under any bushel. And we want to celebrate our existence, and we want to affirm, I am worthy, I'm enough, and I'm deserving of happiness, I'm deserving of love, I'm deserving of joy. And again, a great affirmation is, I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. What thoughts are you choosing to think right now? What comes up for you? Just notice, is there anything that comes up that says, you're not okay? Is there something that comes up that you're regretful about, or where you've done something that you have a sense of shame about? Just notice. Because you can begin to release these ideas one by one. Louise, in one of her writings, said that we've all done the best we could because we're all in a process of learning. I remember my mother, probably a few years before she passed away, saying, if we could do it all over, we would do many things differently. And that was a woman in her 70s, reflecting on her life. And the fact of the matter is, yeah, we all would do a lot of things differently if we knew then what we know now. But the point that I'm making is, we've all done the best we could with the information, the understanding, and the awareness that we've had. And that's true not just of us, it's true of everyone. So we want to have the willingness to let it go, to let people go, and to realize truly, as Louise pointed out, everyone has done the best they could. And see, we sometimes tend to judge that, but it would be better if we didn't. Because Louise said if they knew better, if they really deeply knew better, they would have done something differently. They would have done it differently. So let's let the past go. Let's let the people go. Let's realize we have the ability to extend this love and forgiveness to people who are present and past, and just circle it with love and know that they all, including ourselves, did the best we could. We want to be free so we can be free and experience the love, the joy, the beauty that's here. And we can't do that if we keep on having a lot of remorse and regret. So think of your thoughts. How are your thoughts today shaping your experience? Every Thursday evening I ask the question at some point in the lesson, what has it been like being you this week? And it's a little bit of an inventory question, meaning, if you can just step aside from yourself for a second, think what it's been like being you. Have you been happy? Have you been sad? Have you been angry? So please understand that whatever you have been, those thoughts, that thinking is creating your tomorrows. It's not going to be about your boss, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, or anything else. It's always about you and your consciousness, what you're thinking. So I'm always asking people to pay attention to their inner conversation, because that's the conversation that's creative. So let's just think for a moment. Are you giving people the benefit of the doubt generally? Is that you? Are you trusting? Are you generally just taking people at their word? Or are you a person who's suspicious? You're suspicious of people, you're suspicious of their motives, you're suspicious about everything. That's always going to be, the answer is going to be, it's all about you. Are you a lifter? Are you here, giving thumbs up to people most of the time, giving people a good smile, and, are you there listening to people actively, paying attention? Are you a person, again, who is a lifter, who's extending the love that you have within you to others? How are you approaching life itself? Are you filled with positive expectancy? Or do you think you have more to fear? Or are you a person who has a lot to fear? Are you a person who dreads encounters and you're fearful of people? And there's no really right or wrong answer to this, but this is just a self-assessment. As you get involved in this teaching more and more, you're going to develop positive expectancy. People who practice New Thought are here to see the good, and it's their practice. It's tough to get these folks down. They're very strong. They are able to turn the most dreadful circumstances around into positive circumstances. Wherever you are on this spectrum, it's perfectly okay. It's fine. You're in the perfect place, perfect time, all the time. But we do start paying attention in this class to what our conversation is, because we know our conversation, your own individual conversation, is shaping your own reality. We can learn here to cancel the negatives. We can learn here to neutralize the negatives. When we get into spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, Ernest Holmes will talk about in the glossary, under affirmative prayer, he'll say this process is the time, the art, the method of ridding this negativity, this negation from you, so you can then experience the presence and the eternal good which is here. The kingdom, or if you want to call it the kingdom, is at hand. The good that you've always been looking for is at hand. Not only is it at hand, it is in you, and it is operating through you. Challenge is, most people in the world are not aware of it. Most people in the world are living out there, they're scratching around and they're trying to make ends meet, and they're living in reaction to one another. If you come into this teaching, you're going to learn through the teaching of, that we teach, and also all of the Louise Hay's work, that you are supplied and supported. You truly have everything you need. That deep in the center of your being is this spirit that responds to you. So we embrace some big ideas in this teaching, and you can heal your life as you embrace the teachings. Louise Hay's book sold 66 million copies, and over 100 million people read it. It's translated in many, many languages. We're now offering a Spanish version of many of our classes because it helps people in such a profound way. In Louise herself, we find a compassionate invitation to embrace every part of who we are. She said in several of her writings, I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. She encouraged people to stand in front of your mirror and say the same words to yourself until you connect. Look in your eyes and say to yourself, I love you, I accept you, I approve of you. And if something comes up that would say, where you have disapproval, or something that comes up where you tell yourself something not so wonderful, that will show you where your work is. If something is coming up in you right now, even in the body of this class, this lesson, that says you don't deserve, or you're in resistance, or you don't like being reminded of how wonderful you are, or the truth of that, that would be an indication of some area of your life that you want to address. Maybe you want to release the need to think that you're not good enough. Or maybe you want to release the need to think that you can't be in a healthy relationship. Or maybe the issue is around money, and then maybe you need to release the need to think that you don't have enough and start working with the idea that you are supplied and supported, and tell yourself, I trust the process of life, and I trust that I'm supplied and supported. As you change your beliefs, you're doing what we call, you're opening up avenues in mind or in consciousness. The universe can't give you anything unless you can expand your consciousness. There's another way of saying this is, God can't do for you what it can't do through you. Many of you today prefer to use other words than God, so we'll say the process of life can't give you unless you're open to receive. So we have to, if we want to live the bigger life, we need to learn how to be open and receptive. So you might affirm, I am open and receptive. I release the past. I release any idea that I'm not good enough. I know that I'm whole. I know that I'm prosperous. I know that there's a pattern of health within me. So let's say with open hearts, and affirm together, I love myself the way I am. Bring your awareness to any part of yourself or your history that you find challenging to accept. If there's anything that comes to mind, bring it to mind. Maybe it was when you're younger, your teens, or any point in your life. It might have been in a relationship that didn't turn out the way you would have hoped. Any area of regret, whether it's a failed friendship or some place where you felt someone let you down, or you let yourself down, or you let someone else down. And whatever comes to mind, think of this chapter of your life, and I would like you to, in your mind's eye, surround it with the idea of love and gentleness, and say to yourself, I've learned a lot from this. And if the person is in your mind, I've learned a lot from you. And I now let go. I let go of any discomfort, any pain. I let it all go. I let the person down. To the person, if I feel I've let them down, you say, I'm sorry. And you want to release this. And then you might say in some words to yourself, I forgive myself. I forgive everyone involved if you feel someone has done something to you. So this is an exercise where you're going to release the whole thing. You're going to forgive yourself. You're going to, if you need to apologize in your mind, you do that. Whatever you need to do to clear that. Again, I forgive myself and I forgive everyone involved. I now know that everyone was doing the best that they could at the moment, at the time. I released them and I let everyone, myself included, free. Now, next I'd like you to think about some of your strengths. Maybe you take some of your wonderful qualities for granted, but whatever comes to mind as you think about it, when you're a young boy or girl, or whenever people have praised you, whatever your strengths have been, wherever you've shown up as being strong and excited and happy, bring these moments of memory to mind. Maybe it's something that one of your friends said to you, or your parents, or a coach, or someone, an aunt or an uncle, during some time of accomplishment, or in some way where you were seen and recognized, and bring that all to mind. Bring to mind the places where you have been happy and proud of yourself. Invite this into your awareness to remind you of your greatness. Invite this into your awareness to remind you of your goodness. This strength, or this time, this quality, bring it into your awareness. And know that this is the truth of you, and embrace this time and this memory with love and compassion. And we accept this because we know that this is the truth of us. These strengths are ours. So we bring these memories together. We bring in the negative memories so we can let them go. The people that we still have, we're holding anything toward, or the memories that are unpleasant, and we let them go. We find the ways to say to ourselves, I forgive them, I forgive myself so I can move forward. The strengths we bring to mind to remind ourselves of the truth of who we are, that we're strong and we're whole and we're powerful and we're united with this incredible power that's within us, and that we're moving forward. And we know that every lesson that's come through, that we've experienced, has been there to bring us to a higher place. So in this new moment, in this class, we have the power to start everything new, to clear all the judgments away, all these states of bitterness, and to be in a new moment, to be open and receptive to the great good that's available to us. We might say to ourselves, as Louise often did, I trust life, I love life, I welcome love and I accept my life. I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. I have a little story to share with you of someone who journeyed from self-doubt to self-love to illustrate tonight's lesson. His name was Daniel. Daniel was known as the life of every party, exuding warmth and ability to connect with others very easily. For years he was working in a finance job, and it didn't feel right for him. He was somewhat accomplished, yet deeply unfulfilled. Have you ever been like that? You've worked great jobs, and you've worked jobs where you're getting praise, but you don't really feel particularly happy. Have you been in a relationship like that? Well, I'm sure some of you can relate to Daniel's story. He was more of a people person, and his job didn't always allow him to use any of his talents. And one day, after a long time, an opportunity arose for him so he could use his natural skills at a community event. It was in this space that he realized his real calling. He had unique strength in connecting with people and spreading joy. He was a natural lifter. So with courage, he eventually transitioned his career and started to embrace his talents and found fulfillment and success in a new role that really allowed him to use his great qualities. His story is a reminder that when we embrace our true selves, everything starts to work out. And it's to remind us on the call today to trust that inner voice, to take the pause and go there, because Spirit is always there attempting to guide you. Emerson would say it's been there, it's wooing you. So we take the pause, we take the time out, and we listen. We meditate, we journal, we do whatever we need to do to quiet ourselves down and begin to commune with Spirit. Listen. Life will give you clues. It does all the time. So I want to encourage everybody who's new to our class, who's new to our Sunday lessons, to hang on. The people who really make great progress are the people who tune in regularly and stay the course, because there will be a quickening for you. This information starts to come together relatively quickly, and you're going to start to see manifestations and demonstrations that will come from you changing your thoughts and your thinking. So we want to let go of many of the things we were told that we should do as children, and we want to think for ourselves. If Louise were with us today, she would say, I trust in my own unique strengths. I am guided by my inner wisdom. I embrace the joy of being myself. So let's affirm them together. I love myself the way I am. I'm supplied and supported. I trust in the process of life. I let go of everything, and I trust in the process of life. I trust that the universe will bring me the perfect set of circumstances so I can express all my talents and abilities. We might tonight in our gathering consider in what ways we can embrace our unique strengths. How can we honor our true self? As we sit in meditation, let guidance come in. Maybe one of the best ways to start is by tuning into our gatherings, making a commitment to tune in regularly. And if you can't be here every week, you can certainly go to Facebook or YouTube. Though you won't be able to hear people's comments, but at least hear the lessons. So that might be a good beginning, is to make a commitment to be tuning in And because in these lessons, we're going to be always reminding you of the power that you possess, the power that's available to you. Remembering and forgetting, it's what we do as people. So these classes are here to cause you to remember. We're going to keep reminding you. As we bring this session, as we wind it down, I want to encourage each of you to carry the warmth, the love, and acceptance that we've cultivated today into your everyday lives. Remembering every step you take on this journey towards self-love is a step towards healing and wholeness and empowerment. You're in the process of becoming more aware of yourselves, your beliefs, and your patterns. You're in the process of learning to love yourself, accept yourself. And Ernest Holmes echoes, change your thinking, change your life, much like Louise. So let's affirm together, I'm willing to release the patterns in me and my consciousness that are creating resistance in my life. I'm willing to let go. I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. So thank you, everybody, for being with us this evening, for sharing this space of joy and love. Until we meet again, and we're going to have a time now where you can all share. Please say hello if you're new, where you're from. This is a huge class. There's contact information in the chat for you to reach out to any of us if you need to. If you'd like to support the work we do, there's an opportunity in the chat also where you can support whatever we do. Everything we do is here on a love offering basis, so there's no charge, though we're happy to accept donations. So now we're going to turn the call over to you. And the question always is, what has it been like being you? And or simply just say hello and how things are going. Tell us about your demonstrations. Thank you all for being here.